Ron Duguay started following me last night. How about that?
How about that?
These guys here, the guys with the full heads of hair, don't even know. What did you call him? Ron Duguay? Like, who is this Ron Duguay? This guy was Bon Jovi before there was Bon Jovi, okay? Good guy, Ron Duguay. He's coming up next week.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, what a day to be alive. Welcome, everybody, to the RPShow, episode number 439 of Canada's daytime sports talk show, coming to you out of the bunker here in Western Canada. Darren Moose DuPont over there, RP here, and we're ready to go with your favorite sports talk, live on Facebook and YouTube, Game Plus TV network, and, of course, our 24-hour sports talk channel. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Despite
the obvious?
The obvious, yeah.
What's the obvious?
That's just a crazy day. No, it's good. Life's good.
Yeah, well, everybody thinks that.
How are you doing?
I was doing okay. Now I think I got the earpiece working fine. All right. The only daytime sports talk show on television in Canada is right here. And the only one that you'll get the topics that we talk about in North America is right here. And we do have some breaking news that we'll get to, courtesy of a little scoop just dropped by David Nails Naylor moments ago. But first, I want to tell you, we're not, as some have suggested, going to flush our plans for the day down the toilet just because of a big bombshell from David Naylor. So we've got Ron Duguay, who, I'll be honest with you, I know you got to be a little older to remember him, but I feel like I'm interviewing the Loch Ness Monster here today. Ogopogo. Sasquatch, some legendary mythical figure. That's what he is. You've learned a lot about Ron Duguay in the last week.
I have.
Yeah. Aren't you excited?
I'm very excited.
You've been doing a lot of the reading in the New York newspapers. He was a, as they say, man about town.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Like, I can't believe there hasn't been a movie made about Ron Duguay and his life.
Hey, ain't over yet. And so he's coming up in hour one. New York Rangers legend and one of the best-looking men that's ever roamed the planet. Where's the comments, guys? Is it not working? My 4 favorite words in broadcasting. We're working on it. That's fine. And coming up in hour 2, Devin Heroux from CBC, their curling legend. Thank you. You got it. That was fast. So those are the guests of the program today. And can you please hit Jordan the Quick Six Show topics if you don't mind? I will say that David Naylor has usurped the Quick Six Show topics with this. The CFL and XFL, he tweeted this, about to announce entering formal talks to explore opportunities. Yes, this is big news. Here's why I'm not going to scrap everything we were going to talk about today and spend 2 hours on this, although we could. But I have been saying this for 20 years. 20 years I've been saying that the CFL should do this, and it took a pandemic for it to happen. But I can't wait till I'm dead, and you all are going to go back and go, that guy was a freaking genius, but now he's dead, we can't talk to him anymore. That's going to happen. There's my fearless prediction right there.
Yeah.
The guy was a savant. He was so far ahead of his time, but he jumped off a bridge and he's dead now. So, yeah. So all those questions of, oh, what are they going to do? Are they going to get rid of the ratio? Are they going to shrink the field? Are they going to go to 3 downs? Well, you all can have that talk today. We've had that discussion for the last 2 decades. You know that because you've been around, you've been listening. Why should I scrap my whole plans today? Because you guys just finally dawned on something I've been saying you should do since, what? The Clinton administration. So, and by the way, I don't think they should merge with the XFL. We'll see where this goes. I wore an XFL jacket in here today. I wear it every day. I got a lot of great contacts in the XFL, but I don't think they should merge. This is what I think they should do. I think that they should make it the Continental Football League. So we don't have to give up the CFL brand, the logo, and everything else. Sorry, Rock. If you want to be part of this, you change your name to the Continental Football League. And we can have these teams all over, and there will be no ratio, and we'll throw global, Canadian, and American players into one big pool, God knows we got the scouts to evaluate them. We'll have a draft, and we'll really find out where the American, Canadian, and global players, where the sediment goes here in the draft. We're not going to hide behind a ratio. The best players play. Hockey's been doing it, by the way. It's called the American Hockey League. That's about 2 minutes for a rant on Twitter that we can save for later. What are your thoughts? The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, should the CFL and XFL merge? I'll just remind you that every time we've done that poll, 75 to 80% of you have said no. We've been talking about it for 20 years. So they've now just opened up their eyes and said they should do it. Please, Darren, you aren't just here for your hair. It's for your opinions as well. What do you think about this merger?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, having the conversation, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I think you should continue to have conversations. I don't know what it looks like formally. I really don't. Like, does this look like American expansion in the CFL, back in the 90s? Is that what this is?
No.
I don't know. Is it, having one buy out the other? Maybe. If one was going to buy out the other, which way that deal's happening. It's the XFL buying the Canadian Football League. Right?
Potentially.
The CFL, I would say, has a much stronger brand, has been around a lot longer. So I'm very curious. But as you know, like, I'm an all options on the table kind of person, right? And keep as many doors, open. So I don't want to say, I don't know that they should do one thing over the other, but having the conversation and going down the path, I think is a good thing. I do.
Yeah, well, here I said we weren't going to usurp upstage the quick six, and here we are doing it. But that's okay, because that's what's lovely about daytime live sports talk. We can do whatever the hell we want. Hey?
Did we get results in the poll, by the way?
I haven't even looked, because I don't care. Don't go changing your mind now, y'all. What is it? 74% say no, they don't want to do it. Here's one. Rod, it's Scott Radley. Any chance you could join me on the air this evening at 6:10 p.m. Eastern to chat about this bonkers CFL XFL announcement from CHML Hamilton? Love to. But hang on. I'm on a podcast in New York at 5:30 Eastern. So stuff's going on. I'm just a little annoyed by this. And by the way, if I may, and man, the comments are going in like crazy. Jacques Dupuis says, he's a viewer in Ottawa. He says, a little too far there. Where did I go too far when I talked about throwing myself off a bridge or abolishing the Canadian ratio? What's more important to you? From our friend J. Rod. I agree with you, Rod. Thank you, J. Rod. I know that you're a very smart guy. So people are going back and seeing what I've said for the last 20 years and writing it all down. Maybe he was right about this. You know what I mean? I'll just say this. Here's the bad news. The XFL has mothballed itself until 2022. We already know that. I've been following the situation very closely. So if these two leagues merge immediately, no pro football in Canada in 2021. Just saying that, okay? But I'm all for a merger. I'm all for whatever works. I'm for whatever pays the bills instead of living hand to mouth like this league has for 100 years. Anyways, here are my quick six, and we're going to have to fly through these, and that's fine. Can you hit the quick six again, please, Jordan, just to remind people why we're here? Thank you. Calling up my leftovers. Here we go. Patrick Kane skated in his 1,000th game. I still think of him as a little kid.
I know.
It's unbelievable. He's not. He's still, by the way, the smallest player on the ice most nights. This guy is unbelievable. I love him. My second of the quick six is the term bag skate. The Webster's dictionary definition of a bag skate is to have one's bag skated off. I'm not sure people know that. I see all these headlines on Yahoo News, MSN, Flames undergo bag skate under Daryl Sutter. I'm like, do you know what that is? They're so cavalier about it.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I don't think you know what it is. It's to have your bag skated off. So I put on Twitter last night, as you noticed, when's that going to be canceled?
Right.
That term.
Dr. Seuss is.
If Dr. Seuss is canceled, how do you not cancel the term bag skate? And I remember sitting at the front of the bus years ago, and we're like, okay, if anybody ever asks, what's a bag skate? Say, you were skated until you were bagged. Bagged. You know what I mean? But we actually know it's that you're skated, your bag into the ground. So I'm just pointing that out. I just wonder if they're ever going to cancel that, or I just don't think the snowflakes know what it means. My next two leftovers had to do with the New York Islanders. They're number one in the Mass Mutual division. How did that happen? Just a couple weeks ago, we had them in our bottom five.
It wasn't that long ago.
So way to go, Trotzy, who incidentally coached his 1700th NHL game last night, and he is a former captain of God's team, the Regina Pats. Also, the Islanders have yet to lose in regulation at home, and how about Connor Hellebuck? Holy moly. He was in Vezina form last night, but can we please take it easy on Nathan Beaulieu? I'm watching the game last night live on TSN. I saw the goal by Zach Hyman. You all did. Flying down the right wing. And can I just say this? Here's what I saw. Was Kyle Connor being right in his hip pocket and stopped skating. So the TSN analysts, I won't name them, but you know who they were, are dumping gasoline on Nathan Beaulieu for taking the wrong guy. And what do I know? I'm just a dumb goalie, but I saw a guy knocked back checking, just do along for the run. Why didn't you pick up Zach Hyman? Beaulieu took his guy. Why is everybody torching Nathan Beaulieu? Was he a goat on the play? Potentially. He took away the pass. Didn't pick up the puck carrier, but I probably thought Kyle Connor had him. So I'm just saying there's a back-checking issue on the Winnipeg Jets, and it doesn't begin and end with Kyle Connor, but come on. If a dumb goalie can see that, why can't everybody else see it? And thank God some guy this morning on YouTube, from I believe he's in Winnipeg, slowed it down frame by frame and said the exact same thing, pointed that out. So guess I'm not as stupid as I think. It's getting down to the nitty-grit at the Briar. Listen, in 30 seconds or less, your thoughts on Saskatchewan apparently blowing it against Cooey today.
Yeah, not good. It hasn't been a good morning for Matt Dunstone. Kevin Cooey's, he's the cream of the crop in the Briar. So very, very good. That team, John Morris, BJ Neufeld, and of course our buddy Benny Hebert on that team.
The traitor! It's
a tough morning for Saskatchewan, but they're going to be... they'll be 4-2 after a loss this morning. It's not done. Still a chance, but
they're getting mollywopped.
But that's all you can really afford. I think it's going to be, kind of 3 losses will get you into the playoff. So I think he'll get into the championship pool, but he doesn't have much room for error now the rest of the way.
I'm going to fly now. Point 3 was, should there have been coverage of the CFL Mexican Combines? Yes, the answer to that is yes. There was coverage in the Mexican media, but nothing here. But that's been usurped by today's news that the CFL and XFL are now having conversations about merging. But again, that's not news to me. They should have been doing it years ago. Point 4, George Springer's already hurt, Clark. That didn't take long. Point 5, Connor Bedard, the holy child, says he has, quote, a lot of nerves for Friday night's WHL season opener, which we'll be calling on Access. I was on the Zoom call yesterday with the first ever exceptional player in Western Hockey League history, Connor Bedard, and he's a little nervous. I'm like, good. He's human. What do we always say about nerves?
Yep.
Means you care.
Means you care.
It's not a bad thing at all.
No, I think it's great. I'm excited.
The BC division schedule was released by the Western Hockey League, and I split point 6 into 2 topics. The NFL salary cap announced this morning is $182.5 million for next season. That's not a huge up or down. It was not up at all, but not a huge drop either.
No.
And the NHL going to ESPN. Maybe that'd be a good talk with Ron Duguay to have when he comes in next.
7 years.
Get him back on TV again. It doesn't really make a big difference to me. I hope it's some money in the pocket of the NHL. I'll be buying center ice for the rest of my life anyways. Doesn't make a big difference to me. Plus, I have ESPN in my home, so that's cool. Ron Duguay coming up. Listen, I don't want to be too fanboy when he comes on, so I'll tell you now before he logs in. Here's his deal. 860 National Hockey League games. He's originally from Sudbury, Ontario. Drafted by the Rangers and the Jets. One in the WHA draft, one in the NHL draft, both in 1977. Played with the Sudbury Wolves in junior. New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Penguins, back with the Rangers. then the LA Kings, and then rounded out his career in the minors, the Colorado Rangers, San Diego Gulls, the Jacksonville Lizard Kings. And have been on TV for decades with the MSG Network in New York. Ron Duguay, a very big deal. And a heartthrob, as it said in the New York Post. And one last thing here, just on the Bernie Lynch situation. I said the other day they're obviously watching in Fort Francis, Ontario. They're now watching in Edson, Alberta. I was on the phone last night for a couple hours with parents in billets. They're very upset. They're very hurting with their former coach, Bernie Lynch. And I'm not going to say a whole lot other than Sheldon Kennedy and Theo Fleury have joined the fight here, I guess, if you will. Those terms, recovery warriors. We're forming a team here. And while Bernie Lynch has said in the article, the latest one from CBC, that he's been advised not to say anything, but this is a smear campaign. Thank you, Bernie. You just admitted that you don't think you did anything wrong. You weren't supposed to say anything. Not as smart as he thinks he is. So there are some hurting players, and I told you guys in the morning meeting, I won't take up as much time here as I did there, but as a recovery coach, which is my title, this was what I would rather do in life. And it's okay if you don't know what it is. I didn't even know what it was till I become one. But it's helping people reclaim their lives and put abusers behind jail or behind bars in some cases, and that's what we're attempting to do here with Bernie Lynch. And like I say, and it's my commentary today on Cat Country, I have even more immense respect for Sheldon Kennedy and Theo Fleury for stepping forward with what they did back in the day. Because for the guy that said it's easier now to come out if you were abused as a hockey player than it was then, no, it's not. It's potentially worse. People are more screwed up now and they don't get it. And Theo and Sheldon went to court and they didn't care. So, yeah, we'd like to think this is the end of the line for one Mr. Lynch, but there's a battle still to be waged. And again, that's all I have to say about that, but it feels good to help these kids, and let's hope that let's help them recover and do the right thing. Anyways, this has been the warm-up. Lots to talk about today. The warm-up is for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Come in and warm up at the Four Seasons, your home for the NHL, UFC, and now Regina Pats hockey. You're watching the RPShow on Game Plus TV across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com. Listen live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.